In this video, we're going to be installing Elastic Stack, formerly known as the ELK stack, on our machine. That includes Elasticsearch, an analytics engine, Logstash, a data processing pipeline, and Kibana, a visualization tool. In addition, we're going to be installing filebeat on a separate VM, our web installation, that we'll use to ship our access, error, and syslogs from our web server to our ELK stack installation. Let's get started. All right, as always, we want to update our repo and packages. So that's sudo apt update $sudo apt upgrade tac y. All right, let's install Elasticsearch. So download and install the public key. And then we're going to install the apt package that allows HTTPS package downloads. And then we're going to save the repo in the Elastic sources list. Now, I know this says Debian, but Ubuntu is Debian based. So this is okay. We'll just copy and paste that. And then we will sudo apt get update and then install Elasticsearch. Okay. Okay, now that we're installed, I want to bring your attention to the fact that security features are enabled and on and configured by default on Elasticsearch. And in this particular case, because we are installing it locally and it's not going to be accessible via the internet, we are going to be disabling the security features. So just bear that in mind. Elasticsearch will auto-configure or auto-generate a password for your Elastic super user, and you will also get tokens for Kibana and Elasticsearch nodes. So if you're going to disable these security features for now, please copy this right here and save it somewhere safe, either in a key store or an environment variable, something like that. But I just wanted to bring that to your attention because we're not going to be accessing our dashboard or sending logs over the internet. This is all going to be handled locally. This is just merely designed to get you up and running so you can play with the dashboard and the tools and see the cool data flows that are coming in. So now that we have Elasticsearch installed, let's clear the screen. We need to configure it, and we're going to open this .yml configuration file, and we want to make sure that the network host is accessible on the entire network. So we're going to change this network host to 0.0.0.0. And again, because we haven't forwarded any ports, or if we were on AWS, we are not opening these ports. This is only gonna this will allow traffic from everywhere, but only on the local network. So change this network host to 0.0.0.0, and then, as I said previously, we're going to be turning the security features off for now because we just want to get a quick installation so we can look at our dashboard. So we'll set this XPack security enabled to false, and then we will overwrite that file. And then now we can enable and start the Elasticsearch service. So that will be sudo systemctl enable Elasticsearch. And then we will go ahead and tack on the start command. So that's sudo systemctl start Elasticsearch. And we'll give that a second. Okay, now that Elasticsearch has been enabled and started, let's go ahead and check the status with sudo systemctl status Elasticsearch. And we are loaded, active, and running, so that's good news. And now we want to check that the service is responding to queries. So let's curl. And you should be seeing a response like this. If you have security features on, this command is going to be different. It's going to be something like within quotes, your Elastic super user, and then the password, and then HTTPS localhost. It's slightly different than this, but you should see a response from the service. So this is good news. We are on track. So now we want to install Logstash. So that's sudo apt install Logstash. And yeah, so I do want to point out, because if you look at other tutorials, they'll basically just have this input for the beat section, because filebeat is what we're going to be using to ship our logs from our website to Logstash. so that Elasticsearch can index them, and we're going to send everything to the Kibana dashboard. But what they failed to mention is that, and this took me a little while to figure out and configure, you actually need filters, because you'll get the data, but if you don't have the filters, Logstash doesn't know what you want, and so you don't get anything when you go to your dashboard. And I had to deal with that for like several hours until I figured this out. So make sure that if you're going to be shipping directly to Logstash that you have filters set up. So what we're going to do is we're just going to create a beats configuration. And let's go ahead and sudo nano that. I like to use nano. You can use Vim or whatever editor that you like. And then we're going to just go ahead and copy and paste this beats configuration. So Logstash, as you can see, runs by default on port 5044. And this filter is going to be for our system logs that we're going to be shipping over from our web installation, and also our web server logs, the Apache access logs, as well as the error logs. And then we're going to send this data to Elasticsearch on the local host, because that's where we are. So let's go ahead and overwrite that file and back out of it. And now we can enable and start Logstash. And this it might take a little bit of a time. There we go, we're looking good. So now we can check the status. Sudo systemctl status Logstash. And we are loaded, active, and running. Great. So now let's go ahead and install Kibana. This is our graphical user interface where we get access to dashboards and all that stuff. So sudo apt install Kibana. And then we need to configure Kibana. So let's give that a moment to wrap up. Okay, now let's configure Kibana. So we're gonna sudo nano etc kibana / kibana.yml. And what happened here? So sudo nano etc kibana.yml. And we need to look for these directives right here. So, I mean, it runs by default on port 5601, but I like to uncomment it just for general purpose. And then we are going to change the server host to 0.0.0.0. And those are going to be in quotation marks. It's going to be a little bit different than our Elastic server. And this will get you, these quotes and brackets will get you sometimes, because there are some other configurations where if you don't have quotes or you don't have brackets, it just won't run for you. So make sure that these are in quotes. So our server host is 0.0.0.0. And then this right here is what I'm talking about. So now let's find our Elasticsearch host. So this is going to be Elasticsearch host. So we want to uncomment this right here, and I'm pretty sure we can just leave that as is. HTTP localhost on port 9200, because that's where Elastic runs. And then we can overwrite that file, and we can enable and start Kibana. Okay, and let's go ahead and check the status. Sudo systemctl status Kibana. And we are loaded and active. Okay, so now what we can do is we can navigate to our Elastic server, and we are unable to connect. Might take a second. Here we go. Kibana server is not ready yet. There may be a misconfiguration somewhere, so let me double check. Okay, here we go. It turns out that there was no misconfiguration. I just needed to let the server spool up for a minute. So this is all good. This is essentially your welcome page. You can explore this on your own if you want, which is what I did, kind of poking around the different sections of Kibana. But the problem is without any data flowing in, if you click on Explore on your own for observability down here, you'll get all this, you'll get all this stuff, and you get, news up here, and but this is good. So we have the home page working essentially, or the welcome page. But thankfully for us, we're going to install filebeat on our web installation, and that comes pre-installed, or it has templates for Elasticsearch index and dashboards for Kibana. So we're going to load those up. So this is really good news. So let's hop over now to our web server and install the filebeat package. And once that, okay, so let's see. I'm pretty sure I installed this earlier. I just didn't configure it, so this may be why I'm getting an error. So let's check sudo systemctl status filebeat. Okay, we're loaded and inactive. So I had previously installed this, but once you copy and paste this curl command, it'll automatically install the package for you, which then you can configure and then start the service. So that's where we're at. So now what we want to do is we also have a .yml configuration that we want to open, and we're going to set this this enabled file stream to true, and then we're going to add another log path, and this is going to be var log, and I think we're looking for Apache 2, and then the wildcard.log. And let's see, that's what we need for right there. And we're actually going to be sending log files. We're going to be shipping log files directly to Logstash first instead of Elasticsearch. So we're going to find our Elasticsearch. Let's see, our output. And we're going to comment that out. So here's our Elasticsearch output. So let's comment this out. Okay, and then we're going to uncomment our Logstash output. And then I believe, yeah, so we need to send it directly to the other local machine. So in this case, Elastic, our ELK stack is located at 192.168.233.5. So that's where we need to send those logs. So that's 192.168.233.5. And if all of this, you know, if you have your ELK stack located somewhere else and you have it publicly accessible, you need to make sure those ports are open, and then this, you will be using the public IP address basically to send this data. But again, because we're on a local network, we're just sending it to, in my case, another VM. But if you were actually running this on like a physical server, this would be a machine on the network. So let's see, I believe that is all we need for this configuration. So let's overwrite that file, and then we're going to enable filebeat and start it. Sudo systemctl enable filebeat && sudo systemctl start filebeat. And then we can, let's see, and then we can double check the status, sudo systemctl status filebeat, and we're active and running. Okay, so we're doing really good here. We still have a little bit more configuration to do, so let's move on. And basically, filebeat also comes with some pre-installed modules for different kinds of logs that we can use without having to configure everything. So if you do sudo filebeat modules list, you'll get a list here of all of the different modules that filebeat has that you can enable to ship logs. So you see in our enabled section, we don't have anything, and all of these disabled. Apache is near the top. We want to enable Apache and the system logs. So in our case, we're going to sudo filebeat modules enable system, and then sudo filebeat modules enable Apache. And then you can check the list. You can use the list command again to double check that they are enabled. So we'll sudo filebeat modules list. And if you scroll up, you'll see that under enabled, we have Apache and system. So that's great. Now what we want to do is, let's see. Oh, this is fun. Okay, so let's see. Where are we at? I believe we are in, let's see, cd etc filebeat cd modules.d. Okay, so these are the different configurations. You'll see how they have this dot disabled at the end, but Apache is not disabled, and system over here is not disabled. So I'm going to start with system first. So we'll sudo nano system.yml, and you want to set these to true. So we're turning them on. And what I have found after kind of running through this a few times, the default logs, it says here set custom paths for the log files. The default log paths for the syslogs are pretty good, and you'll get tons of data into your dashboard. But Apache, I have found that it's better to put the log file, the log paths in there explicitly. So that's what we're going to do. So you can just turn, for the system logs, you can just turn these to true and then overwrite that file. And then now we're going to open the Apache configuration, and we are going to set this to true and then set this to true. And then we're going to explicitly set the var paths. And this is also another point where it took me, you know, like an hour or two at least of troubleshooting, because you can't just list the path here like var log Apache 2, and the access logs would be access .log. And I use the wildcard here because usually you'll have like access.log.1 because log rotation by default will kind of package those up. So, and then I believe zip them later. So you'll have access.log and access.log.1 before they're rolled over. So I just include all of them. And in our case here, we also want these in quotes and we want them in brackets. Otherwise, you will not see the data that you're looking for in your dashboard. So let's go ahead, and we want our error log in there as well. And let's do our bracket, and that's var log Apache 2 error.log, and then we'll give our wildcard and our bracket, and then we'll overwrite that file. And then, okay, so as I said earlier, did I say earlier, filebeat comes with some templates for Elasticsearch Index and Kibana dashboards. So we're going to set those up. And I have this 192.168.x.x. Again, that's either going to be the server on the that's going to be your local network address where the ELK stack is installed, or if you have it running publicly, it's going to be the public IP address. So in our case, we are using 233.5, and this may take a second. And now we're going to load the dashboards into Kibana, and I'm going to have to change both of these here. So we are, let's see, did I get this right? I did. Okay, I did not have a period on the end of that, so that's good. All right, 233.5. Let's just do this to make sure I'm not. So it's 233.4. We want 0.5. Nope. And then we want 233.5. Make sure this is correct. Filebeat setup 233.5 9200. That's for Elastic. Setup Kibana host 5601. That's for Kibana. I believe we are good here. Okay, we're going to load these dashboards. And then what I like to do is restart the Filebeat service, and then we can go check our Kibana dashboard to see what data that we have. All right, as you can see here, our index setup has finished. We've loaded dashboards into Kibana, and we've loaded our ingest pipelines. So now what I like to do is sudo systemctl restart Filebeat, and then the moment of truth. So let's go ahead and refresh this, and we should see a note that we have data. And look, we automatically just went to our Discover dashboard. So let's go ahead and open this up and click on Discover, and immediately you will see that we have logs coming in. So this is great news. One thing that I like to do, and obviously this is not going to be a full tutorial on the Kibana dashboards or how to manipulate data, because that is a whole separate video, but I do kind of want to give you an idea of like a couple little different things that you can do. And again, we're only doing system logs and access and error logs for Apache, so it's not a ton of data that we're getting. But one thing that I like to do is you can come over here into the left panel and under observability, click on logs, and you will see here that we have a lot of system logs. Let's see if we can find some other ones. Let's see, was that an auth log? Oh, there's an Apache an access log. So these are the logs that we are currently sending from filebeat over on our web installation to our ELK stack. So if you want to, let's go ahead and filter out specifically our logs from Apache. So in our case, you can see here that event data set under our name. So let's see, if we wanted to search for system logs, we would use system.log, but we want to do Apache access logs. So we're going to create a filter and call it, well, not call it, but we're going to look for the event dataset keyword, and we're going to set it equals to Apache access, and then we're going to update over here. And so this is all going to be recent. Let's go ahead, and this is just from the last 15 minutes. But I want to check like the last 15 days, and let's see how many logs we pull up. And you can see here that we have all of these logs that we can run through. If you want a live stream, you can click live stream down here that you just saw pop up. That is gone now, but you can click stream live over here, and this will give us a live stream, and it should update every 5 seconds. And you can see we have live logs here, category PHP. So someone's looking at PHP, or look at this robot, or someone's using an automated tool to either scan my site or look for vulnerabilities. So I think this is pretty cool. Another thing that we can do is if we come over to if we go back to Discover, we can pull out those Apache access logs. And so let's do event.dataset keyword, and then we are going to be looking for Apache access, and then we want to update that, and then edit our visualization, which is going to take us to a dashboard. And then what we can do is, let's say I want to look at something a little colorful just for fun. Let's see, let's look at a waffle just for fun. Okay, so right now we have all of these record counts, but I want to group them. So let's group them by top. Do we want to do top values? Let's group them by top values. And then we want to do the message.keyword. So this should pull out and rank by, so right now we have 5 values, but what I want to do is, let's see here, because right now let's do 20 values, and then we're going to rank by, so I have this set to other over here, but I want to change that. I'm trying to recall how to do that. I believe it's under advanced. So we're going to turn off this group remaining values as other, and we should just get, look at all this stuff. So all of this is going to be one IP address. All of this is going to be a one IP address. And you can actually hover over this for the tooltip to see the request. So in this case, this is going to be a 408 response code, which will be a session timeout. And then this 301 is just going to be a permanently moved. It looks like, I mean, you can set your user agent to whatever you want, but whatever they were doing probably is not following redirects. Otherwise, you will see this 301 and then probably like a status 200. So this is pretty much it. I mean, there's tons of data over here that you can play with and manipulate and visualize that I think is just super, super cool. And yeah, that's really about it. You really should take your time. on the Kibana dashboard. There's a lot of other things that you can do, a lot of different ways to visualize data. But as always, I hope this was very informative and educational, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I look forward to the next video. The next couple videos might take a little bit longer than normal because I want to set up Security Onion and do some network monitoring, but in order to do that, I need to set up VLANs on a Cisco switch. So I'll probably have some Cisco stuff coming out, and then we'll jump back into getting Security Onion set up. And that's kind of the tentative plan for now. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you at the next one.